what being unstoppable outside is all about. It's not some egotistical, reckless, do whatever the hell you want. It's being able to be resilient, be able to rehabilitate my body and my mind to get out here, do hard things, but do hard things safely. So I'm heading down to Mount Rainier National Park, and I'm just kind of winging it. My big objective, if it is safe, would be to hike up to Camp Muir. Because it is winter, I've checked the avalanche predictions. So for the Washington area, that's covered by NWAC, Northwest Avalanche Center. And for the Mount Rainier area, they have put that the Abbey risk is low. So I went ahead and got a permit to camp up on the Muir Snowfield. And the conditions at the park are a lot different because we've had so much rain. So they had originally opened up paradise for camping at some of the lower elevations, but because the rain has dropped the snow level so that it's under 2 feet, they really want you to camp on like 5 feet of snow. So like you can't camp at Reflection Lake right now, which was what I was hoping for. So I did want to attempt to get up to Camp Muir, but they're saying that the conditions are very icy as you go higher up. And I am risk averse when it comes to ice conditions due to previous accidents and lessons learned. So I have to get to 7,500 feet to camp up on the snow. So what I'm going to do is take my backpacking gear and snowshoe up. And at any point, if I don't feel comfortable, turn around and come back to my truck. If I can get down and out before the gate closes at 4, then I'll just head home or camp outside the park somewhere. But if I do turn around but don't get out of the park by 4, then I will sleep in my truck, even though you're not technically supposed to do that. Stuck, what else am I going to do? Got my snowshoes. I'll be putting those on here pretty quickly outside of the parking lot. And I brought my 45-liter Ortovox pack. It's meant for snow touring, so it's a little bit tighter with all the extra insulation layers I brought, but got it to fit, so we're about ready to hit the trail. One thing I love about these snowshoes is how much traction they have. They're tubs. I'll put the full specs on the screen. When you get into steeper snow, a lot of snowshoes will have a lift there that helps make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna put my lift up for this section that's coming up. Whew. This is a slog. The steps in the snow are helpful and not helpful with snowshoes because sometimes they're too small. But making good progress. Halfway. Alright, we got this section where there's just rocks. You could go short ways and then get back on the snow, but I decided to take my snowshoes off and take the rocks. And then we'll either go back to snowshoes or switch to microspikes, depending on the conditions as we keep going up. All right, the snowshoes back on. Getting up to the snowfield. All right, I've made it to 7,500 feet. I'm now technically in the Muir Snowfield zone that I can set up camp. So scope out, see if there's any flat spots. Likely there's not going to be spots out here that people have already camped at unless they came in the last 2 days. I'm at just under 8,000 feet up on the snowfield. Hello, Mount Rainier. Mount Adams. With my hand, Mount Hood. And Mount St. Helens. It is truly spring conditions. Okay, starting to look for a campsite. I'm at 8,100 feet and come off to the right more into the rocks, out of the path of people who might be skiing or snowboarding down, especially as it gets darker. And might do one of these kind of troughs here because it'll potentially be a windbreak depending on what direction the wind's going to come from. I'll check from that. It's been pretty calm so far, which is lovely. Yeah. This is looking like a decent option. Here. Next to the rocks. I like it. And yeah. I'm gonna have an amazing view. Let's do it. Don't trip. Ta-da! Yeah, backing up the snowshoes is hard. Alright. So when you're on the snow and you stop, even though it might feel warm and you have a lot of sun, as soon as you stop moving, you cool down really fast. So don't sit in the snow for long or put something under your butt and then throw layers on because it's been so warm and melted out. The rocks are heated up right now, so that's a good option as well if you're going to sit. But I'm going to take my pack off and then get out of my snowshoes and then put a layer on because I am very sweaty here. I might even pop these off so that I don't get too cold, and then work on a flat area behind me to set up the tent. Next step is to put my footprint down, see that I made enough of a space, and then also to be able to stake it either into the sides or of the snow walls, wherever I need to, again, just carve out a little bit more space. Pretty respectable. Flattened out spot. There's nice rocks here to help pin down my stake. The inside looks pretty flat. And even found a really nice rock for cooking on here. It's a little after 3. It's still almost 2,000 feet of vert to get up to Camp Muir, but I could attempt it with a lighter pack and throw everything else in my tent, see if I can crush it out. Just go down to Microspikes. I can move a little more nimbly. The conditions are still fairly soft for coming back down, and I really wanted to get back up to Camp Muir. That was a personal goal of mine since my accident in 2022 up here on Rainier. Keep pushing those boundaries of what I'm comfortable with without getting into technical mountaineering terrain and gear and skills. These are my Grivel Microspikes. See how they fit on these boots. Got these in Chamonix, France when I did the part of the Walker's Hout route. Oh yeah, they fit great. Let's see if we can crush out to Camp Muir. 9,000 feet. leave the camp. Still probably an hour away. Now I'm here. This may be the highest I ever get back up on Mount Rainier. That's okay. That's part of what being unstoppable outside is all about. It's not some egotistical, reckless, do whatever the hell you want. It's being able to be resilient, be able to rehabilitate my body and my mind to get out here, do hard things, but do hard things safely. And, you know, one day I'll share my Mount Rainier accident with y'all, but, it's been 3.5 years. And, take my back. So Camp Muir has a couple shelters. One is for RMI Mountaineering, if you do a guided trip with them. The other is a public shelter on the right hand side, but it's closed right now for renovation. You can always camp up here on the Ingraham Glacier, and they have pit toilets. But we're just gonna stop for a quick hydration and then head back down since the sun is setting. Chasing the last of the sun. Getting closer to camp, losing the light. There's my tent down there. Yeah. I'm sweaty. Can't wait to put on some dry layers and make some hot cocoa. Home sweet home. Just back in time before I lose the light. Great. Fantastic. Wow. Views are amazing. Recording the last of the light on my Insta. But now it's time to set up the rest of the tent, my bed, and make some hot chocolate and call it a night. In the morning, I'm going to take my time, be leisurely, wait for things to warm up. I want the snow to be slushy again on my way down. If it's too firm and too icy, then that's a risk for slipping and falling, and that is something I want to avoid. All right, have a good night. Morning. Beautiful sunrise. Overnight, all of the snow that was melting yesterday freezes up. All the water freezes up and makes the snow icier. Plus there's a little bit breezy, so that also blowing over the snow can make the conditions icier. So It's going to be similar conditions today as it was yesterday, so I know by later in the morning the snow will become safer to travel downhill on. Downhill can definitely be sketchier when things are a little bit icy, so we're going to take our time this morning and enjoy the coffee, enjoy the view. It's great. And then I'll go through some of the essentials that I've learned for snow travel at elevation that I'll share with you. So when you're traveling on snow, I've learned a few things to be more efficient, but most important is you have a few options to provide yourself traction. Right now I'm wearing Microspikes. These are by Grivel and they have some pretty aggressive teeth. My Tubbs snowshoes I've been wearing also have pretty aggressive teeth on them, and or you know, especially if you're doing mountaineering, going up on glaciers, you want to be wearing crampons that have very aggressive spikes. So that traction allows you to not slide as much in steeper snow. But when you get to steeper sections and you can't just walk on it, what you would want to do is you want to do kick steps. So you would kick into the snow and create a stairway. And you want to be aggressive. Don't be afraid to hurt the snow's feelings. When you're traveling downhill, you want to either use your steps and make sure your heel is in there before you go down, or like my mentor says, like a cowboy or a gunslinger, you want as much of your spikes to have to be on the surfaces of snow as possible to get that grip. So you're actually going to lean into it. I still slid a little bit, but the traction grabbed and made sure I didn't slide. Another thing that I like to do in order to save my legs is I will, instead of always going forward, you can go sideways. I think it's like some kind of French name. Similarly, you can kick in steps. But it's just using different muscles like your abductors and inductors, which is why I always train for those when I'm in the gym. But it also just allows you to mix up your muscles. And then also when you're up at elevation and you're like getting really exhausted, other thing to do is a rest step, and it's also so it doesn't burn out your quads. When you're just walking really fast and going, your quads will burn out. You'll start to get that lactic acid buildup. So instead, I like to do a rest step, and you can do it fast or slow. Slow is just like, you know, take a step, sit, make sure you have weight in your feet, especially that back foot, so that you don't slide, catch your breath. And the next step, next step, next step. And that can go faster too. So it's just a slight little pause. And that allows your quads not to burn out as much. It allows you to catch your breath and just be more efficient in the snow in general. And then going downhill, especially as it gets slushier, you can glissade. Make sure it's soft though, and make sure that you have either an ice axe or a very sturdy hiking pole to dig into the snow and slow you down. You do not want to be glissading on ice because you will lose control. You will get hurt. I've seen it and it's really scary. So, but when it gets softer, that's a really fun way to save your legs and get down the mountain fast. And that is glissading. It's just, you know, sliding on your butt and using a traction device to slow down. You should take off you should take off your traction devices, because those could get stuck and cause you to, you know, hurt your legs. Or sometimes, I will be honest, I will just make sure I have my feet up when I'm just wearing microspikes, because the tread isn't as aggressive as like a crampon or a snowshoe. So when you are snowshoeing, some of these methods are a little bit harder to do, like the kick step, or when you're going at an angle, crossing your feet over, just because they are so big and unwieldy. So that might not work as well. But again, the snowshoes have lifters. Let me go grab them. Good snowshoes have lifters that are going to keep your feet more elevated as you're going up. And they also have this tilting, so you are able to get your foot at more of an angle, and the snowshoe, or step into some of these steps, and the snowshoe will kind of get out of your way. And then lastly, and this is something you wouldn't do in snowshoes, is when it gets softer, the plunge step. So plunge step is as the snow gets softer, you just slide into it. And like I said, it might be, you might slide for a while, or it might be really firm. You kind of never know what your next step will be, so you got to be flexible and be okay with just kind of adjusting your proprioception of your body as you go in order to accommodate the step. But yeah, great ways to be efficient in the snow. Hope you learned something new, but it's time to pack up and head out of here. It's a bit windier, so that's going to be a little bit fun. taking the tent down. Well, that sucked. Big spell. Burnt at my pill a little bit. Time for new poles. Both of them are bent now from snow. Yeah, that was a little scary. There's so many people coming up. That was still pretty firm, so I was using the steps. But in order to get down, I still have to make progress. So I went off to the side to let people come up, and slipped a bit. Fortunately, there was a little mound of snow that I was able to quickly stop myself on. But yeah, just took my time, found good steps, and got out of the uphill people way by stepping off into some side steps so that everyone could continue their progress. But yeah, that was a conga line for sure. If I hadn't kept coming down, I'd been sitting there for 2 hours. So, you know, all about being respectful, but be careful too. I hope you've enjoyed returning to Mount Rainier and Camp Muir with me. First time maybe for you. This is many, many times for me, but it was really good to get back. Really hard to get back, a lot of anxiety, a few tears. But I'm really glad I did it. I really love snow travel. I think I'm pretty good at it when it comes to, like, especially the downhill when it's nice and slushy and fun. I get a lot of joy out of that. So, all right. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join me on more adventures and learn something new along the way. I'll see you next time.